have him bring that Gatorade. I'm actually gonna grab water myself.
You want me to do this? Thank you.
This is 20-year-old Amber Riswin, sitting inside a police interrogation room at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All you need to know at this moment is that Amber doesn't quite realize how much trouble she's in.
Amber, is it? Okay. I'm Detective Edwards. I know we spoke on scene and I asked you if you'd be kind enough to, come down here so that we could talk. Before we talk, I'm going to protect myself and protect you. Okay, and I'm just going to inform you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent and not answer any questions. And any statement can and will be used against you in the court of law. Alright, so... broad and general question. What happened? Take a deep breath.
Okay. Last night was a culmination of things that had been going on for the past week and month or so. I've been there since January, and Blake has been progressively more aggressive towards me. He would make abusive statements. He would hold me by the wrists and shake me around. He spit in my face yesterday, and he would also have these angry fits of rage where he would start breaking things and throwing things around. And he even put a bunch of scratches on my guitar. And then last night he decided to buy LSD and was acting nutso. And then I laid down on the futon in the center living room, and Blake was starting to play around with the gun, and he was pointing it at me. At this point, it was sideways, and so I grabbed it and I pushed his hand away. I grabbed it again, and I let loose.
Where'd you shoot him on his body?
I think I shot him in his face.
Okay, and why there?
He was just there, in front of me. He was smothering me.
Okay.
So that was within my arm's reach, there was this much of him.
I gotcha.
And he started spilling the blood everywhere, and he came up to get me, and then that's when I cut him, because at that point I reached into my pocket, and I got my knife and I cut him. And then he opened the door, he got outside, and then he started screaming and saying help me, and then the other guard showed up, and he was threatening me. He kicked me, that guard that called the police. They were being aggressive towards me too, and they thought that I was just some prostitute.
I gotcha. So as he's crawling outside, what's going on in this moment? Are you behind him or are you in front of him?
I was behind him, and I was trying to get him back inside. That way there wasn't some scene. I really didn't want to deal with people outside.
Okay.
You may have already noticed that Amber's interrogation won't require a whole lot of analysis. So for contrast, you'll be presented with 4 additional subjects with very different personalities, the first of which will begin right away. From what we could research about Ashley Benefield, she was an extremely talented dancer, able to confidently perform with natural poise in front of large crowds in sold-out theaters. But according to reports, her social presence was considerably more reserved, with people describing her as friendly, but somewhat shy and sometimes withdrawn, unless she was under the influence of enough alcohol, which was reportedly the case when she met former naval pilot Doug Benefield at a business conference, and broke the ice by revealing she had a concealed firearm tucked into her bra. Despite a 30-year age gap, they seemed to fall quickly in love and got married 14 days later. They then launched the American National Ballet together, which Ashley conceptualized hoping to create a worldwide organization. But the company failed to get investors and dissolved quickly thereafter. Ashley then filed for divorce, but was already pregnant with their daughter, so they then had to co-parent together over the following 2.5 years, which created considerable tension, culminating in Ashley shooting Doug in the leg and chest when he was visiting her mother's house. She then ran to the neighbors, claiming that Doug had attacked her and that she had been forced to shoot him. Then she called her attorney, who accompanied her to the police station and informed investigators that she would not be providing a statement.
Okay. Ashley, I'm Detective Flonzinski. I'm with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. I know that we haven't talked yet, and we're not going to be taking a statement from you. That's fine. I have a search warrant, okay? And your attorney's here. I'm going to give it a copy to both of you so you guys can read it, but I'm going to actually read it to you first. But no one can stop this process, just so you know, because it is a search warrant, all right? You can't refuse it. If you do refuse it, there's actually a charge for that. It's called obstruction to a search warrant. All right, we're going to stop recording?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just worried for her. She hasn't eaten anything all day or anything like that.
Do you want me to get you something?
No, I don't think she can eat. She hasn't been able to eat, so. But no, I'm
How can I make her more comfortable?
No, she's fine.
Okay, I mean, the last thing I want her to do is feel like, you know, she's going to pass out, or if I can make her more comfortable. Ashley, I understand that, you know, you're not supposed to be talking to me, but you can tell your attorney I'm hungry or thirsty or something, and I will get you whatever you wanted. Aspirin, I rushed and got you aspirin. I know that I'm supposed to be the bad guy in this situation to you. I'm not trying to be the bad guy, and I don't want to be the bad guy. If I can help you, please tell me how I can help you, okay? This is teamwork as far as I'm concerned. I want to get the truth, and you want me to know the truth.
Police would find no evidence to support her case for self-defense. There were no signs of a struggle, and nothing to indicate that Doug had attacked her prior to the shooting. She was charged with second-degree murder, then released on $100,000 bond awaiting trial. It began on July 23, 2024.
Do you have any hobbies?
I love art. I like drawing, painting, sculpting, ballet. I enjoy gardening, baking, cooking. Most importantly, I'm a mom.
I want to ask you about Doug. When did the two of you meet?
We met August 25th of 2016.
Did he turn out to be who you thought he was?
No, not at all.
I want to direct your attention, Ashley, now, if I can, to the day of the homicide, September 27, 2020. Specifically, late in the afternoon, would you tell us why Doug was at your home?
He came over to help load some of the larger items that my mom and I had kind of pre-staged in the garage into the U-Haul truck. We started getting into a back and forth about being done for the day and what still needed to be packed and that I wanted to be done. And we ended up in our daughter's bedroom and he started screaming at me. He said, "Shut the fuck up."
Did you take any steps to try to avoid anything further?
Yes, I ran to try to leave the house.
He stops her from leaving, so she runs upstairs.
Where?
To my room.
Why?
Because I was scared.
She grabs one of the two guns she had in her bedroom.
And what do you see, Ashley, when you look up?
Doug was standing in the doorway. His face was red. Like the veins were bulging in his neck. His eyes were black.
Does he yell anything at you?
He said, "You're fucking done."
At that point, Ashley, what are you thinking?
I thought he was gonna kill me. If I wore the wrong thing, he would call me a whore or a slut. I feel like I couldn't do anything right. I feel like I had made a really big mistake marrying him. Sometimes he would drive really scary, yelling and screaming at me and like running up on curbs. One time he almost hit a tree.
I would like to just start with a couple of issues. So Doug had a vasectomy removal in April of 2017, right?
Yes.
And you paid for that?
Part of it went on my debit card or my credit card.
And your intention was to get pregnant?
Yes, we had talked about that, yeah.
During this time, you said he had started criticizing you, right? Mm-hmm. About the way you looked, your clothes, the way you acted. He was, according to you, he flipped a table, tried to flip a table, threw a chair, right?
Yes.
He would scream at you.
Yes.
He would call you slut and whore,
Yes.
and you want a baby.
What you're seeing here is known as strategic insinuation, where tone and rhetorical framing are used to undermine credibility. This is especially effective when paired with nonverbal cues, such as the look the prosecutor is now giving the defendant. She is not allowed to speculate nor accuse the defendant until her closing statement, so this is her way of doing both without technically breaking any rules.
I mean, yeah, we were married. We wanted a family.
Okay.
And here we have the infamous microtransgression. Here's another one.
In fact, during this time in South Carolina, you never worked, did you?
He wouldn't let me work.
Okay.
As you can tell, the way she says okay isn't neutral. It's laced with skepticism and condescension, conveying the subtext of disbelief without saying the words.
Are you scared here of Doug?
No, I would not say no.
You said on direct examination that around this time you were living the nightmare. Those were your words, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you living the nightmare here?
Oh, no, not at that moment, no. That was a very nice day.
How about at this moment?
Oh, it was a good day.
And States 102 at this moment?
Same, it was a good day. Sometimes things were really good and other times they weren't.
Okay.
I wasn't going to disagree with him in front of anybody.
Okay. So I want to get to the night that all this happened. So you knew Doug was coming over.
Yes,
You invited him over
yes.
to help you move stuff in the house.
Well, specifically stuff in the garage, but yes.
And you thought he was going to kill you.
He wouldn't let me leave. I tried to leave, he stopped me.
The question is, you thought he was going to kill you.
Yeah.
Where was your firearm?
It was in the bin on top of the basket.
Okay. And that was not your only firearm in that room, correct?
Correct.
You had a firearm in the closet.
My carry gun was in my backpack, which is my purse at the time.
Judge, if I could have her step down so she can demonstrate.
You may.
So Doug opens the door and does what?
Standing in the doorway, kind of like this. He said, "You're fucking done." And I held the gun out in front of me and said, "Stop." He got into this fighting pose where he turned sideways. And he was moving around with his arms in his hands. And he started inching forward towards me.
So he's standing there, he turns to like this and starts moving his arms around.
Like that.
Well, show me. What was he doing?
Kind of I don't know, he got like this. And he was making fighting motions. I don't know, I'm not a fighter, I don't know.
Okay.
It was scary.
Did he have his hands in fists?
Not at that point, they were I don't know.
So you start shooting and he falls down on his back?
His legs went up in the air.
Okay, where do his legs go?
In the air.
How high in the air?
I don't know.
And were you still shooting at the time?
I don't remember.
You can have a seat.
All right, the verdict appears to be in proper form. Madam Clerk, would you please publish the verdict?
We, the jury, finds as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense. Juror number 15, is this your verdict as well as the verdict of the jury as a whole?
Yes.
Members of the jury, I want to thank you for your time and consideration in this case. I always ask, though, is there anybody that I haven't heard from, any testimony I didn't hear, any evidence that I didn't hear, anything at all that I need to know to make a fair decision in this matter?
Your Honor, Ms. Benefield feels that I've spoken for her.
Excellent.
We're somehow getting the sense that Ashley doesn't quite share the same sentiment.
All right.
Ashley is about to realize the judge isn't cutting to the chase and will instead drag out the process with pre-sentencing remarks. It's such a fascinating moment because it's at the very last stage of where she knows she is being watched, and a time where you really don't want to be visibly annoyed at the judge.
All right, so the first thing we need to do is talk about the score sheet to start from. My ultimate conclusion, Ms. Benefield, is that this is not a downward departure case. So with that said, the sentence of the court will be as follows. I'm going to sentence you to 20 years in Florida State Prison. That's to be followed by 10 years of probation. You must initially report to the Bradenton Department of Corrections. We'll be able to provide you a map of where that is.
This is Ashley Benefield's latest mugshot. Her earliest release date is in December of 2041. We'll now take you back to Amber's interrogation.
I really didn't want to deal with people outside.
Okay.
So once he got outside, he was up, you know?
mhm.
So he slammed against the door, he's up, and he opens the door, and he goes outside and he starts running, and then once he gets across the street, I see him pull his head up like this, or maybe his head falls, and then he like walks and sits down over by the guard, and he's like, oh, help me, and the guard's like starting to laugh, you know? And then the guard kicks me, and they're calling me, they're cursing at me, and so I just go back into the place, and I get the keys.
See, now that's where I have to ask you a question, because we had 4 witnesses on scene that said they saw you go up to him and slice his throat. So what happened with that? Was he doing something that made you perform that action, or what happened with that?
He just kept grabbing at me, and he was like trying to like get me to like I don't know, like be brought down to his level.
Okay.
I no.
I still want to
he
get
was
back.
He was still threatening me.
Okay, so that's what I want to get into. Is that how he ended up? Because he has it on his neck. Okay, and they saw you literally leaving within seconds behind him, following him, and they identified you, which is how we knew it was you.
I just couldn't let him just stay like that, you know? I was like, I felt bad.
Stay like what?
Like just in a state of just like blood spilling from his mouth and throat.
Is that after you cut his neck?
No. Before that.
Before you cut his neck?
Yeah.
Okay. So before, when he was crawling out of the door and you were following behind him, was he saying anything to you?
He wasn't crawling, he was standing.
Okay, so he was standing and he was running towards somebody outside. And you were behind him. What were you saying to him as you were running behind him?
I just kept saying things like, can you please stop? He broke an aerosol can inside of the place by just chucking it at the bed. And it blew up everywhere.
Okay.
And then he like threw he kicked a box of like really sharp like bones of an animal at me while I was sleeping.
Okay.
And he's done things like played around with knives like really scarily, and I just had more and more of a reason to just be upset or to be on edge.
Okay.
That's really what I mean.
Let me get this right. He's in the house playing around with the gun and he supposedly points it at you. You manage to get it out of his hand.
He does, yes.
And then fire it at his head. At this time, he's now on his butt at the front door. Is that where everything kind of happened?
Yeah, I was sleeping there with my head against the door on the futon. And so when he approached me, that all happened, and then he sat back, and then he got up.
Okay.
After getting shot in the face.
Okay.
He was like screaming on the trip, and he was like, "You're ruining this for me!" And I was just like, I don't understand what I did wrong. Like I was just laying on the couch, I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm trying to look cute, you know, like with your little like bear blanket or whatever.
So now once he's on the ground after he's shot, then what?
He gets up. He goes and slams his body up against the door.
Okay.
He opens the door. He runs outside.
But I thought you said you stabbed him again before he ran out.
I didn't stab him. I cut him.
Okay, so you cut him before he ran out.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you cut his throat before he ran out or after?
Before and after.
And then at what point did he get this cut?
That was just a larger one after I followed him. And
but why that one?
What should I say?
What should you say? What happened?
Of course.
Yeah. Why that cut here? Were you just trying to send a statement to him?
No. There was no statement or anything. I was just looking to do whatever it took to get him down.
Okay. Because now what I'm understanding is he's trying to separate himself from you and go and get help. And you're following behind
no.
him with the knife.
No, I didn't do that. I definitely sent him out there with a cut. I didn't follow him and then like slit him throat to throat. Like, I mean, ear to ear. That was just what existed. I was running on adrenaline.
I could imagine.
And that was just not, it wasn't okay, and it wasn't okay to do in public, but I didn't pull his head back or anything.
So how did you do it? Like,
well, the same way that you would normally do it.
when he ran out of the house, how far away were you behind him? Because I know you can see him since you approached him. Okay, so a yard.
Because I was worried and I didn't want him to go out into the street or anything.
Okay, why not?
Because he was just a mess. He was like...
Did you just not want people to see what happened?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, it was just scary.
Okay.
And Blake talks to the neighbors all the time. And so he's a huge ass-kisser. And, like, he just, like, does that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but he'll, like, invite them in and, like, get screwed up with them and, like...
Screwed up how?
Like, he'll just give them alcohol or drugs, or they'll give him drugs.
Have you ever witnessed him doing drugs?
Yeah.
Okay, have you done drugs with him?
No.
Ever? Before rehab?
No.
Okay.
You wouldn't need a PhD to recognize that Amber is on something right now besides the Gatorade. And on that note, allow us to introduce you to our next subject. This is 19-year-old Erin Moffat, who recently strangled her own mother to death with an extension cord while coming down off crystal meth. She and her boyfriend then buried her body in an abandoned oil field. Her mother's landlord reported her missing 21 days later, at which point Erin was asked to come in for questioning.
That was important. It was on in my mind.
What we're trying to do is just trying to get a timeline.
Right.
Okay, so I want to start back with what time, when did you move in with your mom again?
Oh, wow.
How long ago was that?
She had been living with her mom for 2 weeks.
When did you realize that your mom was missing?
I got out of jail on the 5th.
Oh wait, that's right. You
Yeah,
were
I came
arrested
home.
on...
She was arrested for possession of cocaine roughly 10 hours after the murder. The detective now takes her to the moment she was released 2 days later.
Okay, when did you get out of jail from Harris County?
At 2:30 a.m. I took a taxi home, and I went in the house, and everything was fine. I figured, you know, I just went to my room.
Okay, so when did you discover that your mom was
The
missing?
next morning.
September 6th?
Mm-hmm.
How did you determine that she was missing?
Because I'm nosy, and I mean, the car's there. My
Okay.
mom, this right here, that trips me out more than anything. Like, I'm freaking out behind her car, and I looked through her, she has this little blue bag, and I looked through it, her wallet was there, all her identification, down to her pills, I mean, everything except her money. Her money was gone. And I know my mom had to have had at least, because rent is due, like the rent was due, and I ended up having to pay the rent, and I knew she had to have at least money for the rent. Me and my mom, I love her, I do, I really love my mother, but it's a very distant thing. Like, I keep myself very closed off because I have to be that way with her. If I'm not, she will literally, like, there's days when I won't even answer my phone, you know, because she's just crazy with it. She calls me constantly.
So, hold on a second. Did you have money for your bond, or did you have someone bond you out?
I had money for it.
Where'd you go when you got out of jail on the 5th?
I came home. That's when I came home. And I went in the house, and she wasn't there. And I'm really upset, because my mom, last conversation I had with her was about drugs. And it really breaks my heart. I want my mom to be okay, but I always say that but, and people hear it, you know, and they're like, why do you always say that? I have a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Horrible feeling.
What do you mean?
Because, I mean, look at people who do drugs, you know? My mom, all it would take, you have no idea what this on her, oh my God. Like,
What do you mean?
her mouth is horrible. She talks so much crap, like threatening, like I'm going to shoot you crap, like horrible stuff. And I always told her, Mama, you're going to handle somebody the way you handle me, and they're not going to be like me. I love you. I'm your daughter. I understand you're crazy. Other people aren't going to understand that. And somebody's going to hurt you. And she don't realize, she thinks she's Superman, you know? She thinks she can talk to anybody and everybody however she wants to, and she does. Believe me, she handles a whole lot of people badly now. And that's what scares me. And I always, you know, she's always said, you know, her mouth is gonna get her in trouble. And when you're high and you're hanging out with high people and you talk crap, you get beat on. I mean, I've seen it. You know, I've been through things. So, I mean, I've seen horrible things happen with these drugs.
Where do you think your mom is now? If we had to go look for her, where should we go look?
If I knew I would be there.
You don't have any idea?
I have no clue. That's why I feel so bad. That
Where could she have gone if she had just walked out the door? Because she didn't take her car or anything else. Where could she have just walked to? If she were to walk somewhere.
I don't ever walk anywhere out here. Like, it's out of the question.
You don't have any idea where she could have just walked to?
I don't think my mom just walked. I don't know. It could have been, I don't know who she knows. That's the problem. I don't keep up with her like that. And I wish to God I would have paid more attention now.
You think someone came to pick her up?
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible right now. It's like, I know that that's my mom. I want my mom. It's like, I know when I lay down, like, I want my mom because she's my mom. Like, this is crazy.
So you don't.
There's something real happening here. Perhaps emotional pain. She will quickly bury her face in her hands and shut the emotion down.
Have any, I mean, you don't think she's anywhere near the home or anything like that?
I have no clue. I'm like space cadet over here in space.
Did you tell, here's what's disturbing to some of the family members.
Okay. Please let me know.
Did you tell Dina, did you speak to Dina on a phone a few days ago?
I talked to her last night. I talk to her every now and then.
Probably over the weekend, something like that?
It's possible. Every conversation up until, I don't know which one you're talking about. I really don't remember talking to her crazy except for last night. I didn't really talk. I was respectful, but still probably rude. And
okay, how about this? Did you ever use the word shovel and your mom in the same sentence when you were speaking to Dina?
Oh, yes, I did. She said, why don't you go look for her? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? Grab a shovel? Okay. Because, and I'm sorry, but I'm very unemotional. I'm very, very closed off. And
so do you think that your mom is dead?
When I tell you I have a bad feeling, I'm not kidding.
So you have no idea where she's at? Do you suspect that she's in the ground somewhere?
No, I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, I'm saying, like, you know, people, I'm telling her, I told Dina, y'all don't know her the way I know her. I'm such a, oh, my heart's so screwed up, like, I can't, I want to accept the worst and just get over it because that's it.
Was your mom depressed?
My mom's psychologically screwed, okay?
Okay, I'll be right back.
Y'all freeze to death?
Yeah, this is a little bit cold in here. I'll be right back, okay?
When police searched her mom's trailer, they discovered a missing carpet, blood underneath the rug, and a power cord lying right next to where the blood was found. They called Erin's now ex-boyfriend to come in multiple times for questioning. He would turn up at the police station on the exact day they were set to conduct Erin's second interview. It had been 28 days since the murder.
Okay.
If you change your mind and want a drink, just let me know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Corey. State your name for the record for me, please.
Michael Corey Lewis.
Michael Corey Lewis. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to meet up. Before we begin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you your statement of Miranda rights, okay? You know what that is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so as we've spoken on the phone a couple times, and as you know, what we're trying to do is establish a timeline for Jana's disappearance.
Who's that, her mom?
Yeah, Shannon. Okay. You may know her as Shannon, is that correct? Ashland's?
I don't even remember her name on there twice.
Okay, Ashland's mom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're familiar with Ashland?
Yes, sir.
Or Erin, right, Erin Moffett. Okay, so you've met her mom twice. Her name is Jana Shannon Moffett. Okay. Okay. So when did you, on the 2nd, because she was, we're talking about, she was arrested at about 2:30 in the morning in Friendswood on the 3rd.
Black Hawk and 528.
Right. Okay. So you remember that?
Yes, sir.
You got that time frame in your head, and you remember when that was?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take me 12 hours prior to that.
I was at my trailer.
And describe to me each hour of that day.
He claims he was in his trailer for the entire day until he picked up Aaron at 11 p.m. to drive to Friendswood. Jana had been dead for roughly 10 hours at this point.
Were y'all going to get dope or what?
I believe she was.
Okay. What was her frame of mind then? Meaning, how was she acting? Was she?
Well, she had a big bottle of pills, which Xanax. It was like blue pills. I don't even know.
I mean, was she acting different?
Yeah, she was on something.
She was on something?
Definitely. Well, when is she not?
Yeah.
Did Jana ever, or did Ashlyn ever tell you that Jana was missing?
Yeah, whenever she got home.
When she got home?
When she got released,
from
got
jail?
the taxi cab to my...
What did she say about it?
My mom's gone. All her stuff's here. Her money's here. Phone. Cigarettes. Keys.
On the night of the second, when you and Aaron went to Friendswood, did she mention anything about her mother?
Not really.
No?
She was trying to avoid it, I guess. I don't know. She didn't say anything.
I mean, what did she think that happened? I mean...
I don't know. She told me that her mom's like a druggie, and she was just giving me all kinds of information that I didn't really care for.
It's important to note the detectives are not certain of Corey's involvement at this point. They have no concrete evidence that can implicate himself or Aaron, so everything you're about to see is entirely a bluff.
Let's see, do you trust Aaron to Ashlyn? Do you trust Ashlyn to keep quiet about secrets?
I haven't told anybody any secrets. I don't keep secrets.
You think she could keep something quiet?
If she wanted to, I guess. She's pretty good at that. She lies to me a lot, so yeah, probably.
How long have you known her?
Like I said, a couple months.
Couple months?
Maybe.
When we do this type of interview, there's certain things that we already know the answers to that we're going to ask you, just to make sure that you're being honest with us. So and I'm having I guess I got a few questions about the date on the 2nd. You said you had problems remembering dates, and yet you remember the 2nd. Why does that date?
I don't remember. Y'all told me it was the 2nd. He's told me several times she got arrested on the 2nd. And so I'm assuming it was the 2nd.
Well, that's okay. So what were you doing on the 2nd?
Probably woke up like at 2, like I said, and then I don't know. She called me and said she had her mom's car.
Okay. Remember again. Well, let me back up. This is your chance to kind of tell us what's going on.
Many of you will already know that this is your chance, and this is your opportunity, are pressure tactics disguised as benevolence. The thing is, that doesn't work on the suspect here. What does work is what the detective says next, or more specifically, how she says it.
I have no idea.
We already know what's going on, so this is your chance.
This is your opportunity. That's what you don't understand right now is we know. We know.
We know you were in the trailer that day.
We know you were there. We know about the blood on the carpet. We know about the cord. We know about the rug. We know about the trunk. We know about the ride. We know about the dump. Do you trust Aaron? We will be down there tonight. We will be speaking to her probably about 2 a.m. She will confess.
And I'm going to be tired by then. I'm not going to want to hear.
She killed her mom. I know she did.
She stuck a needle in her neck and she choked her with the damn cord.
We know this. Thank you. By you telling us this, I mean, you are doing the right thing. Do you understand that? I know you're scared. I can tell by looking at you, but you're doing the right thing.
I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
I have no doubt. But you were there, right?
Corey, look, man. How long you been holding this inside?
A long time, man.
You were in Aaron's room. You guys just had sex. And her mom was, okay, help me out here because the computer is no longer there. I think Aaron pawned it.
Right by the door on the left.
Right when you walk in the front door to the left. Okay. Where the stain is, correct?
Like, stands right here, the computer.
Okay. Because the computer's no longer there, is why I'm asking.
She probably pawned it.
Okay. Forgive my drawing, but we're gonna say this is inside of the trailer, okay? Then she's the one that.
And she snatched the cord out of the wall.
Where were you when this happened? Tell us where you were at.
There.
Did you hold her mom down?
No.
You didn't hold her down? Come on, Corey. You're doing good. Buddy, you're doing good.
I'm scared shitless, man.
I imagine.
I understand that.
I imagine. I believe you.
Hastings oil field.
Huh?
Hastings oil field.
Is that where she's at?
I mean, I imagine panic. Everybody was panicked.
I went with it because she just fucking killed somebody.
Oh, sure.
They take him back to the moment they were both in Erin's room, just before the murder.
And so what happened? Was she talking about what she was going to do, or she said she was going to go out and kill her mom?
And she did, and I stood there and watched.
What has Erin been saying after this? I mean,
She's been trying to keep me to cover it up.
Erin was arrested the next day and informed that Corey had already told them everything.
Erin, don't say anything until you sign this document. Okay? We're going to keep this the way it should be. And then you'll have your opportunity to talk.
What I did was wrong, and I know that.
what do you mean what you did was wrong?
Y'all said y'all put Corey in jail already.
Why don't you tell us what happened on the 2nd? Why don't you just start on the 2nd and begin to tell me what happened?
I can't say this shit.
You're pointing to your throat. What did you do?
I can't say it. I'm a piece of shit.
We know what you did.
I know you know. What did you
Tell me what you did.
I strangled my mom.
You strangled your mom?
I got angry at her and I said something stupid and Corey was like, and people just feed into my negativity, and if you were to just shut me the hell up, I wouldn't say anything, I would be quiet, but he fucking fed into it and it makes my ego big, and then
What did he tell you?
He's just like, you know, if you do it, I'll do it too, blah, 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 you know, and I was like, he just held my mom, and I did that to my mom. My mom. I don't know what the
Did you kill your
wrong
mom?
with me.
Did you kill your mom?
Yes. I freaked the hell out and started crying, and I was like, I didn't know what to do, and then I guess we realized that we can't leave my mom laying there, and
What happened right after y'all arrived to the location?
he pulled her out and took her to where the grass was and stuff, and I fell and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't, and he just put her in there, and then we left.
Do you remember what you were thinking?
I was pissed off at my mom. We're always fighting about something. It doesn't matter. It's probably her telling me. She just talks all kinds of crap, and it's anger that's built up after days and days of dealing with it. And
Should we take a break?
sure,
Do you need anything?
I haven't ate, but
Are you hungry?
for what though?
I don't know. We can get you crackers or chips or something. We'll find something. We'll be right back. I'll get you some crackers. So was this his idea or your idea?
Mine.
Yours?
But he was right there with me the whole time.
What do you think should happen here? You've already said you understand what you did was wrong, correct? What do you think should happen? I mean, do you understand the severity of what's going on? You do. What typically happens in this type of scenario?
People go to prison. I know I'm in trouble. And I deserve to be in trouble.
I just don't.
Why do you feel like you deserve it?
Because look, my mom. My mom.
You understand that you'll be charged for homicide? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
For killing your mom?
I want my mom to. Oh, God. So when you went to go interview Corey, he just
Caved.
I love my mom. I feel like a freaking monster.
This moment is absolutely compelling because of the autonomy the interrogator has. He can respond in any way he chooses, or not respond at all. You may have noticed he was playing the role of the bad cop and was especially cold toward Aaron throughout the process. But for whatever reason, in this moment, he chooses empathy.
I don't think you're a monster. I think you made a terrible mistake, okay? Is this your Coke?
Yeah.
Corey Lewis was sentenced to 10 years for his role in the murder. It could not be proven that he held the victim down. Erin Ashlyn Moffett got a 50-year prison sentence. She will be eligible for parole by the time she's 44.
Alright, so I know we're skipping around here, but I was going back to, you said that you were about a yard away from him as he's running.
That's all I really remember.
As he's running, getting help. He was on his knees at this point? Because you said you walked up next to him and did this.
Yeah.
How tall is he from you? Like,
I was standing, and he is like about this tall.
Okay.
And then the like corner parking lot guard started screaming, and then he said, "Get the fuck away from me, bitch!" and like all of this like disgusting language.
Sure.
And then that's when I went to the bamboo room for help. And
now, why didn't you stay on scene if you were trying to get help? Why leave in a Monte Carlo?
I just couldn't stay. I thought that I was going to be blamed for something because all those people, like, with all of the witnesses at that time, just trying to group their story and glue it together. I don't trust that.
But why not stay and give your account of what happened? You know what I mean?
Because I knew this would happen today.
Knew what?
Knew that if I showed it back on scene, somebody would call or I would go to the police station. I planned on getting my stuff, giving it to my dad, putting the car back and leaving, and then calling about this.
But was he out there during that time?
In the apartment complex next door. But yeah, I think he was.
He was? Okay.
He must have been. For him to have like seen me and been like, "Oh, this girl has to go to jail," and like call police. Yeah.
Oh, he said that during
minding his own
the time?
fucking business.
Did he say that during the time?
Kind of, but like I don't recall. It was just a sentiment.
Were any of those knives that you had on you the one that you used to cut Blake? Which one?
The silver one.
Okay. How many knives do you keep on you?
2.
And there were a lot of knives in that house. Are they yours? Are they his? Is he a knife collector?
Yeah.
Samurai collector?
I'm telling you, he's seriously. He gave me the samurai.
Oh.
But which is why it's in the trunk of the Monte Carlo right now. Because I wanted to practice with it. But.
Where'd you go after you left?
I parked the car down the street and I just went to sleep.
Now, at any point, did you think to come back and call police once you got there, or you just wanted to get your shit and get out?
I just wanted to get my shit and get out. Like, I'm not used to this sort of like, processing and stuff. But if I need to be called on as a witness or something, I understand. But really, I think it's clear that Blake had tried to threaten me, and I had to take action to just get him done.
Okay. And when you say done, what do you mean by that?
Just
away,
no more.
dead?
Away.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that I wasn't being like ultra aggressive.
So by him bleeding, Because you said you couldn't wait to see it done.
No, I could not stay around it without checking to see if this guy was not going to get up again. He got shot and got up.
Okay, and then he left outside, and you followed him. You were within a yard of him, and you cut him again.
No. I'm not going to agree to that kind of statement.
But you literally just said that.
My brain had been, no, I did not.
You said
no,
that
I said that my mind was fuzzy.
And that concludes the first real pushback of the interrogation, which leads us to our next two subjects.
Do you mind if I keep the door closed? If we actually have people walking by, and is that cool? Yes.
This is Katrina Ben, who, according to these investigators, was the most confident suspect they've ever dealt with. She began dating a popular car salesman called Eric Samoa in May of 2012, and although he was upfront with her about seeing another woman at the time, Katrina believed, or at least hoped, that she would be the one he'd eventually choose. But early one morning, shortly after they had slept together, she discovered Eric had called the other woman while she was there. What she was unaware of, and what you will see her find out in real time, was that Eric was calling the other woman to break up with her. Katrina then waited for him to go to sleep, then shot him in the head. Eric was discovered the next day during a welfare check, and Katrina, being the last person he was texting, was asked to come in for questioning. Police would later testify that she seemed genuinely distraught when she was informed of Eric's murder.
So you moved in the high-rise how long ago?
March 11th, I believe.
And, okay, and how'd you meet Eric?
I met Eric outside, 2 weeks after I had been there. I think we get off work or get in about the same time. So I usually get off around 6. It takes me a while to get home. And we were walking in, and he asked me if I was a nurse.
She talks about her work as a nurse, and they make an instant connection, seeing each other almost daily for the next 3 weeks. She then gets to the day before Eric's murder, where they were spending the night at his apartment watching the basketball game, when at some point Eric starts calling his dealer to bring him some weed.
He asked them 2 or 3 times, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? And then he just hung up. I don't know if they hung up on him. I don't know, but...
What time do you think that calls?
That was during the second quarters.
She says she goes to sleep in Eric's bed after the game, while Eric stays in the living room.
I woke up to him talking to somebody, and it was a guy. And I don't know how he knew I was woke. Maybe I coughed or something, I don't know. But I rolled over, and he opened the bedroom door, he came in. And as he opened the door, I could see who I think is the guy from the apartment, walk by to go to the couch.
The person she just mentioned is Eric's drug dealer, who she's now trying to pin the murder on. She says she goes back to sleep, then wakes up the next morning.
It had to be right at 5. Eric's in the bed, and I hear somebody using the bathroom. So the guy's still there, obviously. He used the bathroom. I'm a nurse, so I'm going to notice if you use the bathroom, you don't wash your hands. So use the bathroom. I didn't hear any water running afterwards.
She gets her stuff and goes to leave, and while she's walking out of the apartment, she feels someone push the door shut behind her.
And when I felt the nudge on the door, I thought it was Eric coming behind me, because he usually walks me to the door and locks the door. But
you didn't see him come up behind you, to the front?
No. I went out the
the bathroom and immediately made a right.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to look, see him, or anything. I was just trying to leave. So I walked out the bathroom door and grabbed the front door. And as I was going out like this, my hand is pulling the door too, the door started pushing up. Somebody's trying to help me close the door, I thought it was Eric trying to come to the door, where are you going? But I saw, this side of the guy, I knew it wasn't Eric, his little skinny arm. But I did put, dude almost hit me in the ass with the door when I left, LOL,
You see that?
Right here.
Wow, that's crazy.
This detective would later testify that he believed Katrina was innocent by this moment. The truth is that she had sent the text message after Eric was already dead. Katrina left soon after this moment. The investigators then located and arrested Eric's drug dealer. He denied ever having been inside Eric's apartment. Katrina was asked to come back in, a week after her first interview.
Hey, Trina.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hi. Tired.
Hi.
Do you have more questions?
Yeah. Do you have some time? Okay, cool.
The detectives are once again suspicious, especially this one. The main thing they're doing here is getting a read on Katrina. Her answers aren't as important to them as how she responds to this situation.
Alright, so, we're still, like, in the middle of things.
Okay.
And like I told you before, you shed so much light on Eric that, you know, we haven't gotten from a lot of people. And this will be like our only opportunity while you're here to maybe just go over the story just maybe one more time. Maybe you just remember something just a tiny bit more that might give us we need to arrest the
Is there
person
something
responsible.
in particular you just want to know?
What Katrina is doing here is very rare. She is confronting the unspoken tension instead of avoiding it, and dictating the atmosphere as a result. She's sitting in a room with the 2 lead investigators for the murder she committed, telling them to cut to the chase.
That's everything that I said before. You can ask me anything.
Really, I think if he could kind of go through the story again over the last, I think it was like Thursdays where he started. Because we're trying to establish like everybody he talked to, was with,
Is this a camera?
place he went.
Yeah.
You guys recorded it, right?
The first one?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
We have follow-up questions from your first
Okay,
one.
well, just ask me what you want me to know, because I don't want to go through all this again. That was a long time. I don't want to go through it all again. You can just ask me directly. I don't care. Ask me anything.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, that's fine. Did he grab the door anywhere? Do you remember?
He apparently had to be touching it. I don't know. He was shutting the door. He was touching it somewhere.
So you got out from the bedroom, through the closet, and out that way. And he came up somewhere from the living room area, and we on the way touched the door. Alright.
Do you remember any phone calls he made, like say after midnight that night? Because there's a couple like unknown numbers that we're trying to figure out who they were. Yeah. And
I went to sleep after sex, so he might have been up on the phone. I have no idea.
The last thing they do is bring her photographs of Eric's apartment to see if anything is out of place or missing.
So when did it sink in?
Last night.
Really? You're pretty much numb on all day yesterday.
Yeah. Very tired now.
I know the feeling. We've been pretty much working around the clock for about a week now.
She doesn't see anything worth mentioning in the photographs.
I think he was the one.
Eric, do I think he was the one for me? Actually, no. But he was trying to convince me that he was the one.
Really?
That's why I was like, I don't know. I mean, we got closer and closer. We were very close. But I knew he was a ladies' man. I knew he was a ladies' man.
Katrina left the interrogation room, and the case went cold for over a year. Then, out of sheer luck, a gun was found in a ditch roughly 2 miles from Eric's apartment, and ballistic testing confirmed it was the murder weapon that killed him. The gun was then traced to its last owner, who was Katrina Benn. She was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, then interrogated by the same detectives a week later. She was unaware of the evidence they had against her, and their first question was if she had a gun. She said she did, but couldn't remember the last time she saw it.
Wouldn't you agree that it's pretty important to know where your gun is?
It is. I totally agree. But I don't want to make up any stories. I've learned when I try to make up stuff, it doesn't.
So then,
it's in my possession.
Where did you originally obtain the gun?
At a pawn shop.
Where?
Columbia, Mississippi.
What do you remember about when?
2003 when I had the stalker. 2003, 2004, a long time ago.
You're pretty quick.
Yeah, I am just answering questions.
No, you're pretty. You're good. Trina, you are good.
I'm telling
you.
It's easy to tell the truth.
We found the gun. Okay?
Oh,
and you know where we found the gun. Okay? And this is basically, this is what it's going to come down to, okay?
Okay.
You can continue to go through this as you didn't kill Eric or nothing happened between.
And I absolutely did not.
Okay, let me tell you how it would look like too. You see how bad that looks?
It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, well, let me tell you this. You don't think this is your gun? You think I'm just like making it up?
I mean, I really and honestly do.
Okay.
So I don't know how would anybody have my gun.
There's,
We didn't have
nobody
any
did
mutual
have your
friends.
gun. You had your gun.
Okay.
And it was you.
Trina, let me tell you, I mean, there's not just I respect you doing your job. I do.
Your gun, the gun that's registered to you, that you, we have your signature where you're getting the gun.
Yeah.
Is the murder weapon, just that alone, there's not,
I'm sorry,
we
I
have no
thank you for
doubt.
saying that you think I'm good and I'm smart.
What else did you learn about him that night?
That's it. Eric's an awesome man.
Did you hear,
I absolutely miss
did you
it.
hear him arguing with his girlfriend?
Oh, no.
No?
Mm-mm.
What about other women?
Why would he argue with his girlfriend?
I don't know.
I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
Well,
But
he was talking to her on the phone while we
you
were
said
with
he
him.
called, when did he said he called a girl at 2 in the morning or something like that?
He was actually breaking up with her on the phone.
Yeah. That wouldn't upset me.
No?
No.
Did he ever do anything that upset you?
No, never. Eric was absolutely amazing. And I wish I would have known how he really felt. I wish I would have believed him. You know, when
Did
he
you
told
tell
me
us
he was in
before
love with
that
me.
he tried to, did you guys have an argument?
No, Eric never argued with me. I would rather sit here and say, oh, you think I did it? Well, he, I don't know, stole from me or killed my father or something. Eric did nothing. He did nothing. I can't even make anything up. Eric did nothing.
So what would your best
He did nothing
explanation
but
be
pour his
as
heart
to
out to
how
me.
your gun was used to kill him and you were the
I
last
have
person
no
in the
idea.
apartment?
I have no idea.
All right, then you are going to go down, like in 5 years I've been doing homicide as the most cold-blooded person I've ever had to deal with.
Let's go.
Katrina Ben was found guilty of first-degree murder at trial. She was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Katrina's level of confidence and composure under certain moments of pressure is what makes her a very unique case study. So in keeping with the structure of this video, our next subject will be very different.
Right here. I think they're gonna bring him down this way. Okay, well I need him to be here now. I saw my father's car outside and I'm not really sure why he's here. Your father's car? Yeah.
He's safe right now.
Who is he with? He's gonna be with an officer right now, so. Okay, because the previous officer that I spoke to on the phone said that he was with my sister, and she doesn't have custody of him either, because she's not his guardian. Okay. So I need to know where my kid is, and I need to know what's happening, because nobody's telling me anything. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know what's happening either. I just got here as well. I was just told come walk you in, so I'm sure they're bringing somebody down. We're going to tell you what's going to happen. Do you want to take a seat for a second? You can stay standing if you'd like, but...
This is 26-year-old Devin Schreiner, who 5 hours and 7 minutes prior to this moment shot her ex-boyfriend, Jason Schaefer, 3 times while he was on his postal route. The reason she did this was because she found out that Jason had filed for increased custody of their 5-year-old son and had started dating her own sister within the same week. Devin is herself a postal worker, so she thought that by leaving her postal scanner 20 miles from the crime scene, she would have a simple alibi, that she was at work during the time of the shooting. The issue is that she underestimated how easily her movements could be tracked, as her own vehicle was caught on CCTV just a few blocks from the crime scene, identified by a missing hubcap on the passenger side. She was also captured on multiple cameras running back to her car from the shooting. Now what you just saw, as Devin entered this interrogation room, is her entire strategy. She will lean into this emotional front of supposed anger over her son being taken out of school without her permission, which on paper seems very cunning, because it's far from the typical demeanor of a guilty suspect walking into a police station, and in theory, would change the entire dynamic of her interrogation. But you'll notice that it doesn't quite have the desired effect.
Okay. Where is my son?
He is at the police department and he is safe with
So he's not here?
This is the police department. He is here.
Okay, well, why is he not here with me? I need him to be here with me. I haven't seen him and I don't know what's happened. He was taken from his school without my knowledge or consent.
Can I have the detective talk to you first and he'll explain what's going on? Okay, he's here right now, so we'll figure it out.
All right. Thank you. Mind if I shut the door for privacy?
I mean, I don't really care. I want my son.
The reason that Devin's strategy is about to fall apart has everything to do with this detective, because he basically doesn't give a damn. He clearly feels that he already has enough evidence to close out the case, and will communicate almost exclusively with sarcasm and passive aggression. You're about to see him blatantly accuse Devin a total of 7 times over the course of this footage. Yet instead of confronting the elephant in the room, as we saw with Katrina, Devin will avoid it at all costs and cling on to this feigned state of annoyance as her escape route, each and every time, and it's absolutely fascinating to watch.
Where is my son?
I'll tell you everything. How about that? You're Devin?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes.
I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. We gotta kind of step back here a little bit. I gotta tell you some bad news. Your ex-boyfriend, is it? Ex-husband?
I just call him my son's dad.
Son's dead.
We were never married, but
He died today.
what? How? What happened?
Someone shot him in the face.
In the face? Where?
On his postal route.
He was working today? He doesn't...
Yeah. Yeah, he was working, and someone came up and shot him.
When did this happen?
12:32 today.
It is 6 o'clock.
Yeah, because the case is so serious, I don't want to do anything to violate your rights, anything like that. So everyone that
My rights and my son's rights were violated when you took him from school and did not contact me.
Yeah, so that's what I want to talk to you about. So let me read you your rights, just so you know what they are. Have you ever seen cop shows?
Yeah.
They're on like every night, and these are the same rights. I'm going to read them to you, although you probably know them. Maybe see. So let me read them to you. Can I still call you Devin, right?
Yes.
All right, Devin, let's get through this. Devin, you have the right to remain silent. So I want to talk to you about this case.
I need to see my son.
We need to figure out what's going on and how your husband, how your baby's father died. And I don't want to turn over the ex to the baby until I know that everything's legit and that you're calm and that you're rational and you're not a crazy person, because I've never met you before.
I'm not calm. My son was taken. Nobody told me that anything happened. My son was taken from school by either police, and I was not informed, or by somebody who is not legally allowed to pick him up from school.
Yeah. So here's what's going on. If the ex-husband shows up at the school and the wife's dead, we're not going to release the kid to the ex-husband who just killed the mother. That's going to put the kid in harm's way. So that's just standard police 101 business.
But nobody called me.
Yeah.
When did you pick him up from school?
Probably about 3.
Okay, I called his daycare at 5-ish, and she said he was still there.
When we got a homicide like this, we had a lot of people working on it.
Okay, but then they have my contact information.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have said...
Yeah, you're not listening though. We didn't want them to release the child to you.
Don't release him to me, but nobody even told me his whereabouts. Well, I thought he was with his father.
The police escorted him back here. The child is being interviewed by a forensic interviewer.
He should not be interviewed because I didn't give consent for him to be spoken to.
He's a witness, so he doesn't need consent from the police.
Was he there? Was he in the...
But he's going to tell us about the relationship between you and his father.
But I don't...
You don't understand.
He's 5.
Well, he might not have anything to say.
No, I don't understand how this can all happen without me even knowing that anything happened in the first place. I am asking why I was not contacted in any sort of form about my child's whereabouts or that there was even an incident.
I don't know about that specifically. I know we wanted to find you and we were trying to track you down.
You could have found me when you picked him up from school because they have my information. I pay for him to go to that school. Yeah. They have that information.
Okay. We're kind of going around in circles here. I'd like to exonerate you if you didn't have anything to do with this and get you out of this police department.
Yes, because I would like to see my son.
I don't think you want to hang out with me. Do you know of anyone that want to get Jason in trouble?
In trouble? No.
Or out to get him? Want to shoot him?
No.
Nothing like that? Okay. Does it surprise you that someone would go up and shoot him?
Yes, it surprises me a lot. I don't... Okay. I didn't know, I don't know anybody that would want to hurt him.
So I want to transition a little bit here.
The detective is about to reveal the extent of the evidence they have against her.
I don't pretend to know everything that happened, but there are some things that are really kind of concerning me. We saw your car in the area of the crime scene. Your car was a Nissan Rogue that is missing a front passenger front hubcap. We got your car on a license plate reader a little while ago with your license plate, and it has that front passenger hubcap missing. Sure enough, in the videos around the crime scene, that car is there with that front passenger bumper or hubcap missing.
Devin doesn't say a word, nor move an inch.
So I'm really kind of concerned. I know that you got served just the other day with the child custody order, and you're a little upset about that. You told AJ, you told Devin in the past that AJ knows where you live, and that he'll shoot you if he needs to.
I've told who?
You told that to Devin, and Devin told that to Rose, your sister.
The detective was talking about her boyfriend AJ, but got the names mixed up, and Devin now chooses to respond by acting confused, moments after sitting silent during the reveal of the evidence.
Yeah, well, Jason heard that from you. You said that.
I said that? I've never said that.
So why is your car in the crime scene area? Why are you in that area in your car, and why are you turning off your scanning?
I didn't turn off my scanner.
No, you did.
No, I didn't.
She technically didn't turn off her scanner, but she's once again arguing semantics as her new escape route, instead of confronting the ever-clarifying reality directly in front of her.
Before the homicide, you're not doing anything with the scanner. It's stationary for like 3 hours or more. And it should be mobile because you're working, but it's at your boyfriend's house. And why is your car in the crime scene area?
I don't.
We've got video of your car in the crime scene area.
I don't know why it would be on camera that my car was down there, but I don't.
Listen.
If I don't scan.
She attempts to trail off into post office protocol, so the detective escalates the confrontation.
Lunch break, sort of.
Devin, I think you're a good person, but something's not right here. I think the gig is up. There's something weird going on here. Everything is pointing to you being involved in the shooting. The video of the shooter looks kind of like you. It's from a distance, but it looks like your height and your build. It doesn't look like AJ's height and build. Now, we're going to search your house, we're going to search your car, we're going to seize your car. It's not a random shooting. And so the gig is up, okay?
I read on the way here about what happened, and they said that a man shot him.
That's what we originally thought, yeah. Now we're thinking it could be you. We're thinking it could be maybe your boyfriend. Thank you? That's not the question. That's not the right answer.
What am I supposed to say?
We're trying to get all this evidence together, and we're trying to put the pieces together. And I don't think you're being truthful with me. Your ex, who you've said AJ would kill, is now dead.
I never said that.
Well, I don't care. I wasn't there.
Devin, who's been sitting in denial and avoidance for the entirety of this interrogation, will now directly challenge the detective for a display of passive aggression, and he quite simply doesn't know how to react.
It could have just been an off-the-cuff remark. We're going to do a gunshot test.
It could be her being like, hey.
We're going to do a gunshot residue test on you.
What do you mean, A?
No, we're going to do a gunshot residue test on you.
The detective now does what he should have done from the start of this interrogation.
I'm asking you to trust me. Because if you didn't do this, and things got out of control, and you panicked, and you didn't think this guy was going to kill him, you thought maybe he's going to rough him up, that's understandable. So that's why I want you to trust me, if something like that happened.
I understand why I would be a suspect because of who I am related to him.
And your car.
But I don't... There was things in the past that have happened with him and I that I could have gone to court, or I could have tried to call the police. I mean, I have, and it didn't help, but there's other things that I could have done. Why would I shoot him?
The detective now reverts back to not giving a shit.
I don't know why people ever shoot people. Your car was there. So tell me someone borrowed your car.
I was at work on my route, which is not close to not super close to the post office.
Why is your car in Longmont? when your scanner?
I don't know. I am on my route working.
Do you work in a mail truck or your personal car?
No, I work in a mail truck.
Okay. So why is your car down here killing your ex?
I don't know. But it
you
sounds
understand
like...
why that's so concerning to me.
Yes, I do understand
so did
that.
Borrow your car? Help me out here.
I don't know, but it seems like with all of these things that you're going to be doing that I need to have a lawyer or ask for a lawyer, or I don't know.
Yeah, you can have a lawyer.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say about that, but
Devin then speaks to a postal inspector for an hour and a half, who doesn't get anywhere either. They then collect forensic evidence before we reach the end of the footage, and they all just stand there, sharing the awkward moment together.
Right. So, here's the situation. I need you to go ahead and turn around for me. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Do not move, okay?
Am I under arrest then?
We'll discuss that here in just a second.
Devin's deleted text messages further confirmed the murder was premeditated, as she had planned the whole thing out with her boyfriend, who was tailing Jason's car and feeding her information about his whereabouts right before the murder. They were both given life sentences without the possibility of parole.
You said
No,
that
I said that my
came up-
mind was fuzzy. And then what I was feeling was upset, sad, and just scared.
Understood. You what?
Nothing. I'm just like suffering from some digestive complications.
Alright. Give me a minute. He said he last remembered your hand being inside the purse, and you were pulling away, and that's when he remembered getting shot.
I pulled it from him, and I shot him.
Now, he then said he ran out, crawled across the road, and at one point, you jumped on his back and then cut his throat.
I didn't.
Do you remember that?
No.
You
I
don't
didn't
remember
jump
that?
on his back or anything.
So why would he be lying about this?
I don't know. Probably to cover it up. He was on drugs. He was seriously fucked up. That's just wrong.
So you're saying everything that he said in here, nothing is the truth?
Going with the... No, nothing. Besides the fact that he crawled across the street.
That's the only thing in here that's the truth?
Yeah.
She explains that she got changed into a new pair of clothes after she stole the victim's car.
Okay, why'd you change clothes?
Because I didn't want to be recognized by any of the neighbors when I got back to finish, like, taking my bullshit and just leaving. That way I could just call about this and say, hey, Blake is a scary man, and I had to fuck him up to get away from him. That's what I wanted to do. But then those nosy neighbors called again.
Seems like you're in a daze. What are you thinking about?
Just replaying scary stuff in my head.
They ask Amber for a visual demonstration.
I tried to find a tall person. Okay, I'm not that tall, but you said he was taller than you, so I just wanted to see, while you were in the house, how it actually happened.
And I was, like, kind of comfortable in my sleep, but he came over to me, and he started, like, asking me questions. And that's when I just decided that I would do something like this to get things out of his hand. And I turned the gun around, and I just kind of hunkered up and pulled.
Okay.
Okay. Austria.
Alright. Knife.
You're like on the floor, you're bleeding. You get up and you come towards me. That's when I took this out and just quickly slashed him.
Blake is running this way, I think, because the house is back that way.
Yeah, and Blake collapses on the floor.
Okay, you can collapse, sir.
You're basically like this, but on the other side. And I just like added a little like quick like pull,
So is this the other side of his neck now?
No, just like the same exact place.
Okay, okay. You did switch it, but it was still the same direction, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Understood. All right. Wow. Better picture. I should probably do this more often.
That was fun.
No. All right, give me 1 minute. Let me get you another one. If you need to use the restroom, let me know.
Yeah, I'd like to use the restroom.
If I can find pants, would that be okay? I mean, it's kind of weird.
Pants,
yeah.
Amber took a plea deal and pled guilty to attempted murder. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison.